Hey everybody, Pinstripe here, what is doing on? Welcome back to some more Hogs of War today, progressing on to Mission 7, where we see the first implementation of vehicles, more specifically pillboxes. They can't actually move, but they can turn around the map, and they can deal a relative decent amount of damage, and are kind of effective depending on sort of where we are on the map. Their range is pretty long, but their accuracy is not so good. But we begin this mission at a fairly even point of the map itself. We're all clumped together, but we have the high ground. But I'm going to send my first bombardier over to the bottom left-hand corner of the map where their enemy bombardier is, because I want to take him out as quickly as possible. He has those mortars, and just knowing that my team is all clumped together, he can deal multiple amounts of damage if he gets an accurate shot away. And I don't want my medic to be dishing out so many heals straight away, so going to be going over to that box which contains a super TNT. You don't see many of those. It's very much like the super airburst, which I forgot to mention in the previous mission. Super airburst and super TNT deal the most amount of damage. I think probably super TNT deals the most amount of damage in the game of 200, but I note that I don't have a lot of time to get to the bombardier to plant the TNT, so I go for the mortar but completely miss the shot. I probably would have had a decent amount of time to deal some sort of damage, because the super TNT deals so much damage. You can place it pretty far away from your target, and it'll still deal at least like 60 damage at the least. So plenty of damage to be put out there from the super TNT. The enemy scout then not going to be dealing too much of a problem, because he's just sort of wasted his poison gas. And one tip I can give for this mission is, because you have the high ground here in this corner, I would recommend, if you have two heavy weapons guys, allowing one to sort of run around the map and having the other one sort of stay back as more of like an artillery sort of deal, where he's just able to fire mortars from across the map and deal damage from a faraway position without having any of the enemy team really being able to deal with him, unless they are a heavy weapons dude. As I said, they do have pillboxes, which we'll get to in a moment, but in this mission they're not going to be too much of a problem, because you do actually have two super TNTs placed on this map, so you can deal with the pillboxes straight away, and they only have 100 health, which is pretty awesome. So the grunts inside aren't going to be too much of a problem either, and with a sniper as well, that really just adds on even more range. So I'm going to be sending my sniper over to where the bombardier is. I still have those two pickpockets that he usually has, so I'm going to be using those straight away to try and get the best weapons that he has, which are either the mortars or the bazooka, which I am very lucky enough to acquire both, which basically just reduce him down to be only using his pistol or his trotter. So yeah, not going to be dealing too much damage there for the bombardier. And one big bit of advice I can also give is, if you have a player who doesn't have any weapons, if you've stolen all his good weapons, then just try and keep him alive for as long as you can, because sometimes if they have no weapons or barely any that they can utilize, or don't have their range for, then the AI will usually just skip its go, and that just gives you an extra turn to deal even more damage, and use them for your advantage. And if you can, save them till last to then kill them. Yeah, that's really the best I can give. Eventually, the computer or PlayStation or whatever will realize that the AI don't have, that particular pig doesn't have any items, and they will send down a box straight on top of their head, almost as if the enemy is sending in more supplies. So it will probably be a bazooka or something. I'm not entirely sure if it does it on the PC on this version, but yeah, it's not going to be too much of a deal right now, because using that other super TNT to take out the first pillbox, not going to be too much of a problem. And the second one as well, for some reason, thinks it can shoot through pure steel. I don't know why. I don't know. If you want to know, pillboxes are armed with heavy machine guns and flamethrowers. Flamethrowers are more for close range, and they only deal 30 damage, and the 40 on the heavy machine guns. So not going to be dealing too much of an issue here, as I am well covered by... I don't actually know what that building is for. That building's just sort of there. I'm guessing it's for cover, but it's not exactly used for anything besides that. The medic as well at this point, I don't have anywhere he needs to go, so if you have an opportunity, then just use the weapons that he does have, which at this point are only really his rifle and grenades, so at most you could be dealing 30 damage. So I figured, why not, I'll just try and take out their orderly, because they're just turns that don't need to be used. They're not going to be moving at all, and their range is very limited, so yeah, they're not going to be too much of an issue. But just take them out whenever you can, whenever you have the opportunity to do so, and that just saves you time of doing it later on, I suppose. But I suppose you could say that because they're not dishing out any damage, that, they are in fact really just skipping their go in a way, but at the same time, killing things is fun, so if you need to, just go ahead and take them out when you can. My engineer at this point is going to take quite a bit of damage, and my one of my bombardiers is going to join him as well, because I figured, I've got this super TNT, I could place it right here against this bombardier, but there is another pillbox over there that needs to be dealt with. So another bit of advice, I'm giving so much advice in this video, but just for this general mission, in fact, if you have a huge weapon that is able to deal a big amount of damage, and you've already got someone who's dealing with one of the pigs that will take in their next turn, go and deal with the other thing that has the most amount of damage. Big thing in Hogs of War is go for the player that has the most amount of health. In this case, it is the grunt inside, because technically he has 150 health, but as you'll see there, the range on the Super TNT is pretty big, so it's dealing 42 damage to my my bombardier at that point, which is kind of irritating, because then I've got to send my my medic after him to heal them both, and because they're so close together as well, they're going to be taking additional damage shortly. But dealing a expertly shot there, yeah. Sometimes I always say, I've said in previous videos, I just sometimes pull a great shot out of my arse, and yeah, it's pretty good. So again, the other bombardier utilizing the range, and as you'll see, he had the range to shoot his pistol, but decided, no, I give up on life, I'm not going to do that. And I had all the time in the world for this shot, but I still managed to screw it up, and it still proves that the mortar can be one of the most tricky weapons to master in this game. Still dealing that 9 damage. Definitely worth it. And this health box as well is helpful, but it really isn't. It only gives you, I can't remember if it's a random health box. Some health boxes particularly on this single player campaign, when they're dropped, can give you anything between 10 and 50 health. I don't know if it's done randomly, if there's like a random number generator in there, but it has happened to me occasionally where sometimes, one time I did this mission, it gave me 50, one time it gave me 20, one time it gave me 10, so I don't know if it's random. Someone let me know, someone research that sort of thing, but the grunts not going to be dealing too much of a problem, and we have this mission pretty much on lockdown because the other scout is constantly hiding in his little box. He's not really threatening anyone, not going to be dealing too much of a problem, so really just dealing with them one after the other. The medic as well, again, doesn't need to deal with any of the enemies. He can just heal up everyone so everyone's fine. He is a way of just taking that turn to stop, pause, see how much damage has been taken on everyone else, keep himself alive as well as keeping everyone else alive. And water is a very big problem in this game. Try and keep your pigs away from the water and keep the enemy team close to the water, so you can deal extra amounts of damage there as well. So again, just healing everyone up and utilizing everything that the medic has, including the medical balls, because range is good on them. And you also have medical darts, which I haven't really used up to this point, but I will use in a bit on his next turn. So yeah, at this point in the mission, it's really just about cleanup, finishing off everyone else. I don't know why he's now shooting me with his pistol, and yet he skipped his last go. Maybe he just couldn't be bothered with life. Maybe he was just bored. I honestly could not tell you, but either way, my bombardier is going to try and finish him off. I don't think I do. I think I deal a bit of damage. My mortar aim, in fact, wasn't particularly great. But at the same time, if you have the time and you have the resources and you have the weapons, and you're just at this stage in the match where you've won the game, you can just take it easy. But at the same time, if you want to be getting accurate with whatever weapon you're using, then also just take the time to think about the placement of your shot, the power you're putting into it and everything. But you could just be like me and just finish them off. If you get some sort of damage on them and eventually actually kill them, then do so. I mean, I didn't feel particularly comfortable using the mortar there, so I stuck with the good old-fashioned default bazooka, and I got the amount of health needed to finish and end his life. So at this point, like I said, it's really just about cleaning up, finishing off the scout as well, because again, he's not going to be dealing any sort of damage, just going to be hiding constantly. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up the video here, guys. So far, we have progressed up to this point in our campaign. It's been pretty fun, and I have enjoyed it, and there have been parts of it where we haven't been facing much of a problem as far as the enemy goes. The amount of health that we've been losing hasn't been a problem. And I hope that I'm sort of, I don't know, with this series, I'm teaching you guys about this game. I mean, I know it's an old game. I know I've said before that it's, you know, vintage to me, and I've always barked on about that. I've had it since I was a kid, and, you know, I wouldn't call myself a pro at it or anything. I don't want to toot my own horn. I hate doing that. But saying that, why didn't I just go up and put a TNT next to his box? I don't know. Sometimes you can be like, oh yeah, I'm great at this game, and then you do just a stupid move, and I don't know. But let me know in the comments, how do you think the series is going? Do you enjoy it? I mean, I know that it's not something on my channel that is the norm in a way. TF2 is just something that I do all the time. And this is sort of just a little side note to, you know, other games that I like doing, whether it's old, new, anything like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments, everything and anything. But my Bombardier is going to be finishing him off here with a very loose shot from the mortar, and we win the game all hunky-dory. It's all great, and yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap everything up here, guys. So thank you for joining me. Hope you can like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will leave you with the rest of the gameplay.